made a video explaining subspace in Star Trek and how that's what they use as warp drive. I got a lot of comments on that video, a lot of people correcting my mistake and explaining that I don't understand what warp drive is and that that's not what Star Trek uses. And that Star Trek actually uses warp drive where it's described as like this warp bubble and it contracts the space in front of the ship and it expands the space behind it. In terms of that video, I have an apology to make to absolutely nobody. No. Because you're all wrong and I'm right. Subspace existed in Star Trek long before Miguel Alcubierre wrote his metric, which is what you're all referring to. That paper was written in 1994. This book came out in 1991, forward by Gene Roddenberry himself. And Miguel Alcubierre actually is on record as stating that he was inspired by Star Trek, and that's why he wrote his metric, which is a variation or a solution to Einstein's theory of general relativity or Einstein's field equations. And that's what it's described as. Bubble, contract the space in front, expand the space behind. But I would like to turn your attention to page 54 of the TNG technical manual, where it says, and I quote, Cochrane and his team eventually relocated to the Alpha Centauri colonies, a move that took only 4 years because of CDP-powered space vehicles. And they continued to pioneer advances in warp physics that would eventually jump the wall altogether and explore the mysterious realm of subspace that lay on the other side. Now, it goes on to say, during force coupling, the radiated energy makes the necessary transition into subspace, applying an apparent mass reduction effect to the spacecraft. This facilitates the slippage of the spacecraft through the sequencing layers of warp field energy. So when I say Star Trek uses subspace, I have receipts, guys. I get it. We've kind of all Mandela affected ourselves after Alcubierre wrote that paper and everyone got really excited about like the potentials for actual warp drive being described in physics. Everyone kind of just assumed that that's what Star Trek uses. But there's actually a few other things that occur within the show that shows us how they can't actually be using Alcubierre's metric. Even though they do kind of retcon ever so slightly, like as we go on in time, you know, and like new shows, and they try to adhere a bit closer to more modern physics. But still, there's a number of reasons why Star Trek will always need subspace and Star Trek's warp will always need to be different to what Alcubierre's paper was about.